The first day, on my first day, it was horrible. Horrible. The manager at the time, it was her second last day, so she had that day, which I remember it to be a Friday, and the following Saturday to train me. So I guess she was a little bit stressed and everything, but she was horrible. Everything I did was basically wrong. She said she took off my makeup, the makeup that I had already done, and she redid it. You know, your basic bully, but at work and being your manager, it's just, it's not, so it wasn't a very positive experience at all. And I haven't come across those experiences very often. I haven't come across those experiences very often, so as you can imagine, I didn't know how to deal with that. I just did everything that she told me to do, and the day ended, and I was like, that day I got home, my elder sister was leaving to pick up her kids, and she said, "How did your first day go?" And I burst into tears. I couldn't help it. It was so overwhelming. It was horrible. I just started crying, and she gave me a tight hug. She said, "Don't worry about it. It's not the end. This is not the job that you're gonna need to keep for the rest of your life. There's always other opportunities, etc." And then she had to go, so that was fine. The next day I went back, and she was a lot nicer. The makeup that I did that day apparently was better to her. But the next thing I couldn't cope with is the amount of selling that we have to do. Rather than just it being focused on the makeup and the creativity side of it, you have to push people to buy things, and that is something that I loathe doing. I really hate forcing people to do something they don't want to do. So I had a really hard time with that, but I said, okay, maybe it's not gonna be so bad. So I told myself I'll give it a week. So I went back the next few days. Fortunately, I was alone, so it was just me. Any people that wanted to come buy stuff, I'd get the sales, so that was fine. I never really made my budget, but most of the times I was quite close to achieving my budget, and things didn't seem to be so bad, but I found it very boring. There were hardly any customers walking through the store, that department store in particular. It was just quiet, hardly any customers. After my experience with that ex-manager, I felt like I couldn't really do my job properly anymore. So if I had any customers who wanted, you know, advice on what to do, how to apply something, eyeshadow, blush, whatever, I felt very much like I'm not good enough to do this sort of thing. So after a week I couldn't take it anymore. The whole selling part of it was horrible. The experience on my first day was particularly horrible, that I couldn't cope, and that was the beginning of a very, I'd say, a dark moment in my life, because after that I kept going down and then further and further, and I became very severely depressed. I became suicidal. I'd cry all the time. My family could see that there was something wrong with me, and they started to get worried. And one day we were out having a cup of something with sweets, and things, and they came out with it. They asked me, you know, we see that you're not coping so well. What we want to know is, have you thought of taking your life at any point? And I just burst into tears, and I said, yeah, I have. And they took steps into trying to help me to get through it, but the agony I was feeling inside, it's something really, really, depression, some people just don't understand what it's really like. It's literally painful, very, very painful. It's a pain that you can't seem to take away. And I describe it as something in here, sort of like you're gasping for air. You can't, the more you breathe, you can't, it's not enough oxygen. Something's pushing on your chest really badly, and something hurts and it aches, and you cry and you cry and you cry, and you feel so much despair and you don't know what to do. And the worst part of it all is, even if you wanted to talk to someone, you're not in the right space of, like, you're not in the right mind frame to reach out and talk to somebody about what you're feeling, because it's at that particular moment it's just impossible. And that is the most crucial moment ever, because that is what, from one second to the other, bring you to taking your life. So that evening I went for a walk, and I was crying as I was walking. I found a park. I standing there like a like staring into nothing, kept walking. I found some broken glass next to a lamp post, and it just crossed my mind really quickly, and I actually tried to take my life. I was not very successful, because I don't deal very well with physical pain, so I wasn't at all successful, as you can see, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And that was the worst of the worst. So for that reason, that brings me to another part of this video, which is why I have closed my other account and decided to include makeup into this account. And that is because when I get in front of a camera while I'm doing makeup, I start to get very anxious, and I feel very uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm too slow and I'm not being quick enough for it to last 10 minutes, and I hate editing. I can't seem to work and talk at the same time while I'm doing things. So especially after my experience with that woman, after that I lacked confidence, and I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So I decided to close that account. Any makeup that I do now, I only take photos and put them in a slideshow. I no longer do tutorials, which is why you've probably seen a whole bunch of makeup looks in the form of slideshows in this channel. So yeah, so apart from my video logs, you'll be seeing a lot of slideshows of different makeup looks that I've done, and it's something that I really, really, really enjoy doing. I've decided that I'm not going to make it into a profession, because for me it's just something that I do because I feel like it. I get an idea in my head and I decide to express it through makeup. So I guess it's just a hobby of mine. I don't do it for money. I do my family's makeup. My sister's got her high school formal, or prom as some people call it, next Monday, and I'll be doing her makeup for that. last week we had a refugee ball that we had to go to, and it was cocktail dresses and all that kind of stuff. So I did my makeup, my mum's makeup, and both of my sisters' makeup. So I do things like that, but I don't do freelance or especially not retail in any department store. I don't care what brand it is, but I don't want to go through the wholesaling experience again. So yeah, that's the end of this video, and right after this one I'll be making another one, so you'll be seeing me again very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.